Hello everyone, happy Wednesday, tea time. Giving you guys just a few seconds to hop on, let Facebook know I'm here. Sorry, what the heck was that? I am back with some good stuff here. Hi Belinda, when you come on, just give me thumbs up, wave, hi, hello. Can hear me, make sure we're all good to go. Marcy, Mark, hello. Everyone's on. I love that it's 7 o'clock and still sunny outside. My room's a little hot here. Can't put the AC on because it's right by the computer. So there might be a moment where I just need a break, especially since I am still drinking my tea. Patricia, hello. Stephanie, hi. Yeah, this is a juicy topic because everyone has a really hard time with this, right? Hello. Give me a thumbs up if you are having trouble with this. You are living in the past. You feel like you keep replaying your life over and over again, and the things that have happened and the things that aren't going right because of the things that happened, and the things that aren't working out, and the things that are really always just replaying in your mind of the things you should have done differently, and the things that could have went differently and should have and could have, and all those icky words that we can't do anything about, and the past that we can't do anything about. This is huge. This is huge for everyone, right? Even if you are spiritual and great at meditating and being in the now and all that stuff, we all struggle with this. We all struggle with these thoughts that come back from the past consistently and emotions that come back from the past consistently. Hello, Carrie. Karen. Ooh, we got a packed house tonight. Good. And I want you guys to join in, if there's anything that when I say it, you're like, yeah, that happens to me, because I think it's important for everyone to realize that you're not alone, that the things that you're thinking, the things that you're feeling, the inhabitants that you have in your mind, it's not just you. Everyone feels this, and that's why I do these things, and that's why we're working on this, because there is a better pathway, and there is a way to help our mind and help our spirit and help our soul, and we got to work together, right? We work together, we raise the consciousness, but we've got to be able to admit, we've got to be able to share in this space where we can say, this is happening to me. I'm feeling this too. I'm struggling with this too. This is something that I'm having a hard time with too. And instead of judging one another for it, we work together and we help to heal from it. So hi, Jennifer. Hi, Diana. All right. So I'm going to jump right in, right? So as I was saying, everyone's dealing with this, even if you're really on this ascension process and you're feeling really good 90% of the time, there's gonna be these little inklings of the past and past emotions and past thoughts and past events that happened that keep coming into your present state of mind, keep coming into your present state of life, and they may be keeping you away from the things that you're really going after, whether it be a financial situation or a career or romantic relationship or your health or any of those areas that are usually your 4 areas that are really needing the work and needing where someone's feeling like they can't progress. There's things that are holding us back, right? There's things that are in the way that we're thinking, that we're feeling, that we're reminiscing about, that are keeping these realities and keeping the progress that we want away from us. So why are they there? Where are they coming from? And how do we fix them, right? But we've got to know where they come from. We've got to understand why they're coming up before we can fix them. So that's kind of what I'm going to dive into right now. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how I'm fixing it, how you can fix it, how other people that are working on this same sort of idea of just moving out of the past and getting more into the present moment and creating the future, right? It's okay to think about the future, right? We're always sort of drilled in our head, be in the now, be in the now, be in the now. Yeah, that's important. But you also have to have visions for the future. And as long as they are positive, as long as they are full of progress, as long as they are full of that feeling of growth and expansion, then it's okay to think into the future, right? So, but the thing is that we're doing that from a place of fear. And that's what we're getting into here, right? When we're thinking about the past, I want to know what part, and if you feel comfortable sharing, in the comments, like, what part of your life do you feel like you constantly replay over and over again? Is it your financial situation? Is it past relationships that you've had? Is it feeling like you want to, get healthier and lose weight and like you can't do that? So your health and that area. Is it your career? Are in business? Are you trying to start a business or trying to change careers and you feel like you can't really make those moves, right? Where is it? Where is it in your life? Because I think it's important too to figure that out, because then I can talk a little bit more on those subjects if there's more of those things popping up. So share that if you're comfortable sharing that. So we think about the past, right? We go back and we're thinking like all of the things that we've done, all the places we've been, all the events that have happened. And what's important to remember with those things is that there has been emotions that are tied to those past events. Those events are done and gone, as we know. They're not happening in our lives right now. They happened, they're over. As soon as they happened, they were over. Every moment that we are living is a brand new moment to be reinvented, a brand new moment to have a new thought, a brand new moment to create a new reality. So these moments that have happened, they're done, right? Those actual physical events and moments are done, but what we're carrying with us is this emotional connection to those past events. So there's emotions that are connected to those things. So it might be regret, it might be fear, it might be embarrassment, it might be defeat, it might be intimidation, it might be sort of these negative guilt, regret, guilt and shame and all of these emotions that we're associating with events that have happened to us in the past. And even though those events are done, we're feeling those emotions right now, right? We're thinking back to those events and we're feeling shameful now. We're thinking back to those events and we're feeling regretful now. And so we're pulling emotions from the past into our present moment, and it's changing the way that we're acting. It's changing the choices that we're making. It's inhibiting some behaviors that we normally would do that we're not doing because we're, again, feeling those emotions of the past. So I want you to think about what parts of your life that you're feeling like you keep on reliving and you keep on sort of bringing up to the surface, and how the emotions of those things from the past are affecting your decisions now. Are you not taking certain movements forward because of how you felt when you tried it once? Are you not jumping towards the next thing, or trying something new, or going into a relationship, or doing any of those things because of how you felt in your last relationship, or your last job, or your last financial, or your financial situation that's been going on for 10 years or 20 years? Are you living in the past? Are you bringing those things from the past into your moment right now? Because if there is this feeling inside of you when you think about the past that makes you feel down, that makes you beat yourself up, that makes you feel like, man, I just keep screwing up. If you're sort of beating yourself up, like, why do I keep doing this? Because we live our life in patterns, right? We have these patterns that happen in our life that, even though it's different places, different faces, different things, there's a same emotional pattern that keeps on happening depending where we are in our lives. It could be in your relationships, it could be in your financial situation, it could be in your career, it could be in your health. We're usually on this sort of up and down cycle. And that's because of the emotional pattern and connections we've created in our brain that are creating this cycle in our life. We're seeing our inner world, our inner emotions, and the things that we're thinking and the things that we're feeling come out into our reality. And so if there's a part of your life that you feel like you keep on like, damn, again I'm in this situation, again this is happening to me, again I'm experiencing this, again somebody did this to me, again I can't pay my bills, again whatever it is that you feel like I've been here before, it's because you have. And it's also because you've brought that into your reality now, okay? So the things that you associate with your past and the emotions that you have in your past, when you're living them now, what starts to happen is they start to affect the decisions you make now. They start to affect how you behave now, right? You may show up in your life and you may say like, yes, I'm ready to lose weight, I'm ready to make more money, I'm ready to meet the love of my life, I'm ready to improve my marriage, I'm ready to start a new career and start a new business, and you're gung-ho and you're great and you're doing really well for a week or 2 or 3 weeks or a month or whatever it is. That's your pattern before the old self starts to come up, before the old thoughts start to come up, the old emotions start to come up, and it's what you're saying to yourself, right? It's the thing, it's the conversation that you're having with yourself that's just a replica of what you said back then when you failed, of what you said back then when you were struggling, of what you said back then when you couldn't find somebody, right? It's the same thing that keeps on happening. So this awareness that I always talk about, this awareness to your thoughts, is the same thing that you have to start seeing with your past and your emotions. What things keep on happening and what emotions keep on coming up for you? Why do they keep coming up for you? What happened that keeps percolating again and again in your mind, and just staying there and just coming up and just having these same thoughts that you had a year ago, 3 months ago, 2 weeks ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it is. What are those thoughts? What are those feelings? What are those things that you're associating in that part of your life? Because once you get clear on those things, you can see your pattern. You can see where maybe things go really well and then they kind of crash, and then they go really well and then they crash. Because it's us, right? It's us. It's us going back to the past and feeling the things that we were feeling when another situation happened. You know, somebody I was listening to the other day, he was talking about, and he was saying, you know, you think about like, where were you on November 17th, 1993? It's like you have zero idea, right? You can't tell me where you were and what you were doing, but you can tell me where you were, how you felt, and what you were doing on September 11th. Right? Because there's an emotional connection to it, because there's something that happened that day that creates this insert in our hearts, right? In our minds and our emotions, and we remember, and I remember where and what I felt and what I saw and what I was doing and what time it was. I remember everything, right? Because that's imprinted on us. The same thing is happening in our lives with the events and the things that are holding us back, right? The things that have created fears in us, the things that have created beliefs in us that we can't do things, that we can't move forward, that we can't get better, that we can't improve our situations. We have these beliefs that are tied to things that have happened already. And so when we're stuck in that, when we're stuck in that repetitive motion of that, we can't move forward. We can't visualize and then take action to progress into something new if we're constantly being held back by those emotions of the past, if we're constantly reliving the past in our minds right now and not looking towards the future. So I want you to think about your story about whatever it is that you're replaying over and over again, that you're trying to get forward from. Like, what have you been telling yourself about this, right? This main area in your life. Like, what is the thing that you're telling everybody else about? What is the thing that you're thinking about all the time? Are you saying things like, I'm the type of person that, or he always, or she always, or I always, or this always happens to me, or this is always the situation, or here we go again, right? Are there words that come out of your mouth that solidify that you expect this to happen again, right? We don't get what we're wanting, we get who we become, and we get what we expect, right? So if you're walking through life and for whatever situations you are, what's your story that you're telling about your money situation? What's the story that you're telling about your health and your body image? What's the story that you're telling about your love life? What's the story that you're telling about your career or business that you're trying to start? What's the story that you're spitting over and over and over again? And is it the story you want to tell? Is it the future that you want to have? Or are you taking little snippets of what happened in the past in those areas and bringing them to where you are right now? Because vibrationally and energetically, you're going to stay there. You're going to create that same pattern over and over again until you start to become aware of that pattern. So a lot of the times we'll self-sabotage, and I did a video on this where we don't even realize that we're doing it, right? Subconsciously, we have this program in our mind. It's not completely our fault unless you know that you're doing it, then it is our fault, right? But it's not our fault because we've already programmed our mind for failure. We've already programmed our mind for lack. We've already programmed our mind for shame, for guilt, for inability, right? Because we've, again, played that same story over and over again so much that even when we try to consciously do something different, in the back, in the main area where the captain is running the ship in our subconscious, we're going to self-sabotage. We're going to make stupid little decisions that lead us down a road that's opposite of where we're trying to go. So you got to pull this stuff up, right? You've got to pull up, what am I thinking about in the past? What is it that I keep replaying? Why do I keep replaying? Why do I want to keep staying there? What emotions am I feeling that are tied to these events? And how can I come to this place where I understand that that's done, that that's over? Because we're holding that energetic space inside of us. We're holding that block inside of us. So once we're aware of it, once we can see it, you know, I always tell myself this, or I always tell myself that, or every time this happens, I always think this. Seeing that, bringing it to the screen in front of you, bringing it to the paper in front of you and saying, you know what, these are the emotions that I feel every time I'm about to succeed and then something happens. These are the emotions, these are the thoughts, these are the fears that I have, that I've had before, that I've had for 5 years, that I've had for 10 years, that I've had for 20 years, right? Where are you blocking yourself? Because we are our own worst enemy, right? We keep ourselves where we are. We're saying we want things, we're saying we want better, we're saying we want improvement, but then our actions, our thoughts, and our emotions aren't aligning with that. And it's not totally our fault. It's just a habit and a pattern of thought that's been thought about upon so much that it's created a pathway in our brain that every time something happens, we go back to that. But that's unconscious stuff, right? That's stuff when you're not aware. When you're aware, you can take control of that. So when you see those thoughts coming up, when you see those emotions coming up that you know are going to inhibit you, that you know are from events that have happened in the past. They're not events that have happened right now. They're events that have happened to you before, mistakes that you've made before, things that other people have done before, okay? And you're taking that, like you see a lot of women do this, right? A lot of women, like they were cheated on, they, you know, were treated like crap, and then they get into a relationship with a nice guy and like they're constantly like, oh, he's gonna do something, he's gonna do something, like he's gonna hurt me, he's gonna, and it's like, those emotions are from something that happened with someone else in the past that you're bringing into your current relationship, and it's probably going to happen, not because that person is horrible, but because you brought that vibration of fear and insecurity into that relationship, and then it just happens, right? We get what we expect, we get what we plan for. So think about that in your life. Think about, you know, maybe your health and your fitness. Like, are you someone that like does really well for a really long time and loses a ton of weight and is totally fit and totally healthy and totally well, and then you crash? Right? What thoughts are you starting to bring into, maybe you're getting to that set point where it's like, ooh, your brain's like, whoa, you're getting too good here. We're not like that, right? We're not the type of person we've always been, right? Those thoughts out there, I always fail at this. I always gain it back. I'm a yo-yo dieter, right? I can't stay consistent. I'm not disciplined, right? All of these beliefs that are what and who and what you were doing in the past and what you thought about yourself in the past and what happened in the past. So you are not an undisciplined person right now. You are not someone that can't stay consistent right now. You're declaring that for yourself, and so it's showing up in your life in the future, right? Right now, you are a consistent person. You can declare that at this moment, right this second, and you can change it. And when you get those thoughts that you're not consistent or you're not disciplined or you're not enough or you've always been or all of these comments that you say to yourself, when those come up, you can say, no, you know what? That's how I was. That's how I used to be, but now, okay? And that's something that I want you to really work on. I used to be, but now, okay? Write it out, right? I used to be insecure, but now I feel secure. I used to be a yo-yo dieter, but now I can stay consistent. I used to be scared to be in a relationship, but now I'm excited for a new one. I used to be angry at whoever, but now I've forgiven, right? And every moment we have a choice to make a different decision, to feel a different emotion, to have a different thought, and to take a different action. Every single moment is brand new. You wake up tomorrow, and the only thing that keeps you in the day before is your thoughts. Is your thoughts, your thoughts, your thoughts. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? Is it from yesterday? Is it from a week ago? Is it from a month ago? Why bring that into the brand new day? Why let that inhibit you from the things that can come further, right? A lot of people like that try to start their own business and try to do things like they feel lack, they feel limited because they're like, I can't get it right. I can't do this. Like, one, you're going to fail. Everybody fails. Like, I'm freaking still in the process of trying to get everything in order, right? There's progress and there's been growth and there's been crazy expansion, but there's still things I'm working on. Everyone is going to continue to work on things, right? But where can you stop and say, what's holding me back? Right? What did I believe about myself? What did I believe about my history, my story? What did I not believe enough about myself, right? Where were there feelings of inadequacy? Where were there feelings like you weren't enough or I wasn't enough, right? And we pull those up to the surface. Where did they come from? Usually they came from what other people said, what other people thought, how you grew up, whatever those things are. These are things that were spewed at you and put into your head and put into your mind without your consent, right? You didn't get to block it, but now you're aware and you're awake and you have consciousness. So you can start to deflect that and say, yeah, I don't have to accept that. I don't have to accept what you say. I don't have to accept what society says. I don't have to accept what the newspaper says. I don't have to accept what I say, right? This is a new moment for me to have a new thought, to have a new emotion, to have a new idea, to have a new perception of how I'm going to do things. So we've got to do that, right? We've got to bring awareness to that. What are the story? What's the story you've been telling yourself? Anita, hi, every moment's a gift. Don't set yourself up for failure. Yeah, we know, it's like we get this morning, right? We wake up and we're like, it's a new day. And then like we let these circumstances start to affect us, right? We get to work or we get in the car or we get a phone call or something's going on and we let these sort of outside things start to affect us. And oh, here we go again, right? That's a big statement like we all make. I've made it. No, here we go again. Here we go again. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like, whoa, let's backtrack again a little bit, right? Is this thing happening because it's happening again, or this thing happening because I kind of was waiting for it, I kind of expected it, I kind of thought about it even before it was happening, right? There's things in your life like even relationships, right? Maybe you're in a really crappy marriage, you've been together for 15 years and you're just like sick of each other and you're like, oh, he does this all the time and she does this all the time, and it's like you expect that, so that's what you see, that's what you get, that's what you focus on, and that's what unfolds. So if we can start to change our perception of that and we can start to look for different things and not the things that were done yesterday, not the things that were done a month ago, and say, what does today look like? What do I want today to look like? What do I want my thoughts to transpire into, right? I always say, like, think about it as if what you're thinking right now, if it was to manifest in front of you, the second you thought it, would you want it, right? So when you're in this past, when you're thinking about crap that's happened, it's like, do I want that to happen again? I mean, unless you want it to happen again, then it's great. Then you think about the past, you're like, ooh, I'm going to bring that back into my reality now, right? But if it's things that don't make you feel good, if it's things that are keeping you bottled down and not helping you to move forward, then you gotta look at it and say, okay, this is no longer needed. This is no longer useful. This is no longer something that I really want to give my attention to, because these things are not moving me forward, and it's a new moment. It's a new day. The fact that we have the ability to create through thought a brand new day, a brand new moment, a brand new thing, like even from a minute to the next minute, right? You can be creating something negative where you're attracting, you start the wheels of something that's again replaying, that's going to be negative, and then you can like catch it and be like, you know what, no, I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. What I would prefer instead to happen is XYZ, and we shift our attention to that, right? And we have that awareness that whatever I'm thinking or whatever I'm feeling or whatever emotions that I'm feeling right now that are coming up because of thoughts of the past, they're going to replicate now into my future. Do I want that, right? You've got to ask yourself that question. Do I want what happened before to happen again? Because if you don't, then you stop thinking what you were thinking and feeling back then in the moment, and you change it. You change it. And yes, it takes time. And yes, it takes work and awareness. And you have to really, you have to meditate, and you have to get quiet, and you have to get still, and you have to start getting really good at listening to what's coming up. And once you do that, you're going to start to see where your patterns are. You're going to start to see where things keep replaying. I love the idea that what we create our moments by not thinking about our poor past thoughts. That we create our moments by not thinking. Yes. Sorry, I will read that out. It took me a second. See, I'm sweating because it's getting hot in here. Oh, what am I going to do for the next, I'm going to have to find somewhere else to film. If I no, I'm not going to put it on because then it's going to ruin the sound. Damn it. Vania, hello. Love the idea that we create our moments by not thinking about poor past thoughts. Yes, right? Because that inhibits us. It keeps us back. So what, you failed. So what, it didn't work. So what, there was a problem. So what, you were broke. So what, you had, whatever, right? So what, you fell off the wagon. So what if, your relationship ended. So what? What does that have to do with right now? Nothing. It was done. It happened. It's over, right? You see these people that hold grudges for years and years and years. It's like, please move forward, right? It's killing you. It happened 10 years ago, and you still talk about it, and you're still bringing up all this anger and resentment and betrayal and drama and all this stuff. Right now, you're causing harm on your body right now for something that happened 10 years ago. It's dumb. It's stupid. Get over it. Move on. Really see it as that. It's am I going to allow myself in this moment, this only moment that I have, this treasured moment, this gift of this day, of the second of this moment, to let myself be in an emotional upheaval of negativity based on something that's done past, will never be relived again. It'll be relived again in a different way because you're now attracting that with maybe someone else. But why? Why give up that time and that energy and that space that you hold for yourself to something that happened 10 years ago, even 2 weeks ago? Let it go, right? Yes, have the moment, feel the anger, feel the resentment, feel whatever, all the crap that you want to feel, but you gotta let it go. Because it's going to transition into the rest of your life, right? You've got to change your story. You have to change your story. So that's it. I wanted to keep this short because I get up now at 4 o'clock in the morning. Working on some stuff. I find that hour, guys, if you have the ability, I know it sounds crazy. I would have thought, if anybody told me to get up at 4 in the morning to work on meditation and exercise and journaling and all that stuff at 4 in the morning, way before you have to, I would be like, you're crazy. But now I realize that it is needed. It is needed the time to work on yourself. So tomorrow morning when you wake up and you're in this new moment and you're in that second where you can say, you know what, I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't care what happened a week ago. I don't care what happened X amount of time before. All that matters is right now, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, how am I going into my day, what am I taking into my life, what do I want instead, what do I prefer, what is the future that I'm seeking, and know that everything that happened before you, all the emotions that happened before in your life that were negative, right? Again, you got good past memories, milk them. I go back to my past memories and I think about where else did I feel this, right? That's part of my manifestation process. I'm like, okay, I want to feel this. Where did I feel that before? How did it feel when that happened? I feel that now, and then that projects into the future, and then something is manifested. If it's good, great. But if it's negativity, if it's negative stuff, and negative emotions that you're bringing into the moment, you're going to bring that into your day and you're going to bring that into your life. So wake up tomorrow morning and just leave it behind. Know that that moment has passed and that you don't have to carry that emotion from yesterday into today, that you can start a new day. You can start a new thought process. You can start a new emotion. You can start a new life. You can start a new manifestation. You can start anything that you really freaking want to, because the choice is up to you, right? When we take responsibility for our thoughts, when we take responsibility for how we're thinking and how we're feeling, and we're not letting outside circumstances affect that, and we're not letting what happened in the past affect that, then things can start to move forward in our lives, depending what it is that you're trying to work on and manifest and bring into your life. But you will be held back if the same old story that played a month ago is playing again in your head. Look at your story, bring it to the surface. What do I tell people about this? What do I tell myself about that? What do I think about that? What are some sentences that I always consistently say, right? I'm always like this. I'm always like that. This always happens to me. Go back to what you speak, because what you speak, what you think, what you feel, they lead to behaviors, okay? They're gonna lead to behaviors that create your life. So understand that in a way that gives you back your power, right? That we're not being victims, that we're not being victims of the past, that we're not being victims of other people, that we're not being victims of our own thoughts, that we're able to pull them out and say, this is not beneficial for me. What happened then is hurting me now, and I'm tired of living in the past, right? Because you're here right now in your physical body, but you're living in the past. Anthony, Steve, Valerie, hello, Mark. What if your past positive memories causes your present mindset to get frustrated? Asking for myself this time. Not a friend, huh? What if your past positive memories causes your present? Right, so you're saying, which we've spoke about this, Mark, like you're saying like the fact that you're not where you were before right now, like that kind of thing, like you were doing really well and then kind of now it's not so much. Just answer me with that, because I don't want to answer you the wrong way. I feel like that's what you mean, right? Where kind of like what I was saying earlier, where if you're in the past, like if the past was good, oh, it's okay, so maybe like now you're feeling like, oh, frustration, like why can't I get back to that? Is that what you mean? There's a little lag. Oh my God, it's so hot in my room. I can't put the AC on. Look at this, it's like I'm working out. This is good, this is good. Hi, Sylvia. If that's what you mean, Mark, hopefully midway that I'm answering you, this can kind of get in there. If you're thinking in the past, right, let's say there were parts of your life where you were doing really well and things were going, that and my opportunity to be a speaker, which now doesn't seem likely to happen. Come on, limited belief, which now doesn't seem likely to happen. Because of why? Because right now you're not in the best situation for that to happen. Can that change, right? That's another thing. Like, know that things can always change. Know that there can always be improvement. Like, we can't stay so stuck in sort of where things are right now either, right? If it's a negative place, knowing that there is progress forward. So if you're thinking back, like, man, I was so good at this, like, that's the victim mode, right? It's like, oh, see, I was doing so well and everything was going great and now everything crashed, and you know, of course that would happen to me, right? And I know that you don't think like that, Mark, but subconsciously there might be that old replaying emotion in your head, like, oh, it's not, you know, it's not meant, I'm not meant to be XYZ, right? We know the conversation, I'm not going to share your information here, right? But like, that might be replaying in the back of your subconscious. And so these things are sort of happening that are coming to fruition because those are the things that you're thinking. So if you're going back to the past and you're thinking about those times when you're doing really well and you're seeing a lot of progress, and then now you're like frustrated because you're like, oh, look where I am now compared to where I was before, like, you've got to get into that emotion. Like, how was I thinking then? How was I feeling then? What were the things that were going on in my life then that made me progress so well, right? Versus being where you are and looking back at that and being angry that that's not where you are. No, you were having different thoughts at that time than you're having now. What happened is you allowed circumstances that are happening right now to alter how you felt about things. And that's the backpedal, right? It's like, oh, circumstances are happening and I'm starting to feel crappy because these circumstances are happening, versus like, even though these circumstances are happening, I remember how good it felt, and I'm going to feel that way again. I remember what I was thinking at that time, and I'm going to think like that again. I remember the actions that I was taking at the time when things were good, and I'm going to do those things again, right? So it's that change of perception of, okay, these circumstances are happening now, and I'm letting that change. Like, you're letting the fact of where you are right now change the fact that you're not speaking. You're not speaking right now. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe August, this speaker opportunity that you had that we talk about, like, this wasn't your time, right? Maybe something's gonna happen on the plane. Maybe there was an accident that was gonna, maybe there's a reason, right? There's so much stuff behind the doors that we can't see that this isn't your time to speak. Maybe your time to speak is when you're completely 100% healed, not halfway, completely. So you've got to sort of have that conversation with yourself. Like, you know what? Just because it didn't happen at the time that I wanted it to happen, just because it didn't happen the way that I wanted it to happen, doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, doesn't mean that it's not going to change, doesn't mean that the next opportunity that happens isn't going to be better, right? It could be even better. It could be even bigger than the opportunity that you got. Like, you already had that opportunity offered to you, which was something you could have never imagined before. Right? So who knows what else is out there for them. This is all part of your story, coming. We all have this story. We all have something going on inside and things that are happening. I tell myself the same thing, still get frustrated at times. I know it's normal. It's totally normal. Listen, it's okay to be I never will tell anybody, like, don't feel your frustration, or don't feel your guilt, or don't feel your shame. Like, it's okay to be frustrated. Like, I like to think I'm a pretty chill, like, accepting person. I don't really stress much. I don't really, have these moments, because I do truly really work on myself. But of course I get frustrated with things. Of course I get angry with things. And I don't fight it. Like, I don't fight that frustration, or I don't fight that anger, or I don't fight. I just kind of, like, allow myself to feel it, see where it's coming from. Think about how much better it feels when I'm on the opposite side of that, and just kind of let it pass. But you can't stay there too long. Yes, you can get frustrated, you can get mad, you can get angry, you can get jealous, you can get resentful, you can get all of those things, and those things are going to happen because we're human, but you can't stay there, right? It's if we stay there that's when things sort of continue. So if you hopped on midway, be sure to go back to the beginning and watch. I hope that sort of this kind of helps everyone to kind of realize, like, you know what, I can change. I can change in every moment. I can change my situation. I can change where things are going. I can change how things are unfolding. Like, we have the power, guys. Like, we've got to take back this empowerment of, like, you know what, I freaking control how my life unfolds. I control my money situation. I control my health. I control my romance relationship. I control all of these things that we think are uncontrollable, but they truly, truly are. So that's it. Any questions, Mark? I hope I helped. That's why it's good for us when we chat, because we get to dive deep into that. Let's see. Well, I know I saw another. Anita, manifest only what serves you. You speak of accepting the responsibility of your thoughts. Essential. Yeah. What serves me? Like, what, is this? I've talked about this in past videos. Like, if you go to my page and you go on the desktop, I don't think it's on mobile, and you go to videos, I have a bunch of topics there, right? I've been uploading them to YouTube, so, like, they're there. Like, go back to things. But, where was it? What was I saying? Crap, see? That's what happens when it gets too hot. You have this choice, right? You have this choice when these things come up to say, is this what I want? Is this what, like I said, I always tell myself that, like, if I have a negative thought, or there's things that come up that, like, I know that I don't want, right? But it's there. I'm like, whoa, if I was that damn powerful, that in this moment, in this second, it was like, boom, right in front of me, would I want to be manifesting this? If the answer is no, then I work on it. Then I backpedal, and I'm like, okay, all right, what do I want instead? What would I prefer to feel instead? What would be the optimal situation as opposed to this? Like, I start to go back. I see that thought comes up, and I'm like, this doesn't serve me. This isn't something. And this took me a long time. It happened quickly. Like, I understood it, like, fairly quickly, but, like, you got to remember, we're on a habit pattern. We're on a loop, right? Where our brains kind of think the same things. We create these pathways in our brain. Like, this is science. This ain't just woohoo, like, again, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, changed my whole perception of things, like understanding how the brain works and how thought works and how this affects behavior and how it's amazing stuff, guys, that I think we should be learning in school. Like, that's what I want to manifest, like my own damn school where I just teach like thoughts and manifesting and the idea and how to use our brain. But that awareness has to be there. As always, you did help. Thanks, Mark. Good. I'm glad. So, oh, man, I could just never keep it at a half hour, but you guys are here, so that's good. So that's it. If you watch this later on and there's questions or there's just something that's on your mind, share away. I am going to go and let me see. Do some work here. So that's it. Everybody, I hope this helped. I hope you can go into your life and the world and your reality and just start being more of a creator and start taking more responsibility. Start having more of a feeling of empowerment with your lives and not be victim and not be caught up in all the crap that's happened in the past. Because that emotion and those things, they're going to just keep replaying. Everything that you're seeing playing out in your life is a reflection of your inner dialogue, is a reflection of your inner thoughts and your inner feelings and your inner emotions. And when you get a hold on those, you can start to change what comes out in front of you. If you don't believe me, think back to things in your life. Think back to the good things. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? How were you acting? Think back to the bad things. What were you thinking? How were you feeling? How were you acting? That's it. It's all up to us. So love you all. I'm going to let everyone go, and we'll see you next week. I hope. Yes. I've been off and on with a lot of things. Lots of clients, lots of good stuff happening, lots of changes. So I'll keep you guys posted. And I kind of want to come on a little bit more in between everything too and help you guys and keep you guys on track. So I will talk to you all soon. Bye, Anita. You're welcome. All right. Have a good night.